Hi there, I think I'm live. It's Vanessa here with our weekly crafting session together. And just while I make sure that I've got sound here, just going to refresh my little screen. I wanted to talk to you about a promotion that's on at the moment, just started with Stampin' Up, and it goes for the whole month. And, okay, I'm just going to check my sound quickly. Perfect. Okay, we're all good. Yeah, it's like a BOGO sale. I think that's what they call it. So you buy something from a suite, and then you can get something else from a suite at half price. And the half price one doesn't have to be from the same suite. It can be from a different suite. But there's just one thing to look out for. The discount is applied to the lowest priced item. So, for example, if you were to buy something like so you buy a bundle, the stamps and the dies, and then you want to get another bundle at half price from another suite, you go ahead and add that, and that one will be half price. Then, though, if you went back to the first suite and added the gems, so you add some embellishments from that suite to your cart, that's the thing that then will be half price. So just be careful, because it's in a suite. Anything in the suite, so the ribbon, the gems, DSP, those are going to be less expensive than the other bundle you've added. Do you get what I mean? I hope so. If you don't understand me, then please just reach out and I can explain it better. Or we can do a live scenario, and you can tell me what you want to get, and I can help you make sure that you get the best value. Okay, so now, the other thing is it applies to all suites. So whether it's on in the catalogue or an online exclusive suite, and there's also, I think there's some suites in the last chance. So if it's in there too, that would obviously be the one that would get the half price. But yeah, it's a great deal, a great way to get more crafting supplies without spending heaps of money. So I'll just pop this over here out of the way, and let's spin around. That little button always disappears. Do you find that? It was there a minute ago, and okay, there we go. Okay, so I don't need the book anymore. So today's project is a different take on something I did a wee while ago. So when we were playing with the heirloom arrangements kit, I made this trifold card, and the arches I used are from a set that is now retired. I think it's retired, or it might be on the last chance list. And it only had the one arch. And so that sort of governed the size I could make the card. It's a very pretty card, love it. And so I decided to replicate it now that I've bought the Everyday Arches dies. So this is a set of dies of just arches. How cool is that? So, and they do a little line of stitching, and with so many sizes, you can make the borders around each arch whatever size you like. And the little one in the middle, I can see that being used as a label. Very cool. So, excuse me. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention is, so I cut one of the arches out of this piece of basic white, and then I thought, I'm going to keep that, because I could use that to, if I just grab, actually I've got a piece of scrap paper. Here we go. So if pretend this is a card base, and you can just use the arch to sponge through. I don't know if this will show up because it's crumb cake. It's not the darkest of ink to have used. It was right there. But you get the idea. You can sponge that onto a card front, and then it gives you a focal area. Yeah, it hasn't come out very dark because of the colour I've used. But then you can, add onto that. So you can layer onto that with stamping and things, and it just gives you a bit of an interesting area to put your elements onto. So yeah, hold on to that negative piece. very useful. Right, and the other thing I'm doing today is I'm revisiting the Emboss resist technique. So a couple of weeks ago I did a video, and the whole time when I was demonstrating and talking about the technique, my sound wasn't on. So I thought I would do a little recap of that particular thing, and it goes really well with the card that we're making today. So I've got this is a different stamp, but it's from the same set, Elements of Text. This is one I use quite a lot. So I think last time we used the round one. This time I'm using this, which is a slightly bigger font and more of a rectangle sort of shape. And I'm also using one of the splodgy ones. So I love that set. Get everything ready here. Oh, now I just realised I haven't prepared one earlier, so I will have to heat emboss this. But that's all right. Okay, so I've got a stamp that's sort of larger than my ink pad, so I'm going to take the Versamark to the stamp, and then you can make sure that you've got even coverage. And I'm just going to use my buddy, take away the static. And then I'm going to stamp this a little bit to the right because I've got things going on the left. And quickly, while that's still wet, I'm going to add some splodges, just one little stamp of that. Then I'm going to put the powder on. So you can spoon it on, or you can just use your card, this arch like a scoop, and scoop it into the powder. It looks pretty good. So just get rid of any little bits that are extra, because once you apply the heat, it will be there forever. Not so important on something like this. This is a little bit sort of rustic, so it doesn't matter too much if there's extra little blobs, but it's a good rule to get, a good habit to get into. Now I'm just going to find my heat tool, because it's plugged in at the other side of the room, of course. I don't think it will reach to the table. Okay. Sorry about this. Normally I sort of do it off camera, but I thought it would be a good idea to actually do it. I don't need the extension lead. You have to excuse me sniffing. I've had a cold and I'm still getting over it. I'm in that point where, you know, when you've got a cold and you feel like you should be over it. It's been enough days now. Come on, I'm ready to get back to normal. And it just lingers. It's very annoying. I'm in that stage, the lingering stage. Okay, so we've got our powder on there. And then now this might be a little bit noisy. I'll just turn it to the lowest setting. Actually, it might not do it very well if I do that. What I'll do is I'll start it off and then I'll come back on camera. That might be best. I don't want to deafen you. Okay, so things are starting to happen now. So you'll see I just hold the tool still, and as I'm holding it, the words are just becoming shiny. You can see the difference between the dull and the shiny. I hope it's picking that up on the camera. And you just move around, and as they go shiny, you just move to one of the dull spots. And just hold the tool there until it changes. It happens pretty quick, and it's probably a bit more dramatic on these larger blobs. You can see the dull, and then just hold that there they go shiny. And then you just twist it in the light. When you think it's finished, just give it a bit of a twist around and just make sure that all the dull patches have gone. Yep, that's all shiny. So that is heat embossing. So that's the way you do it for, like if you were doing a sentiment or, well, any stamp really. That's generally heat embossing. And now to step it up, we're going to do emboss resist. So now that we've embossed that, the embossing powder, the shiny words and the stamped, everything that's been embossed is going to resist my ink. The ink won't actually colour that. So we just, as usual, just go off onto your scrap paper or your work table. And then this is crumb cake. So I'm popping the crumb cake on with a blending brush over the top. And I like to go in circles. I think it gives you a nice blended look. I think if you sort of go like that, you could end up with lines. And I'm going to go right round because I want the whole edge done. But you can leave some areas white if you want to. You don't have to do the whole thing. And you can make some areas darker. I've sort of naturally got a bit darker around the words. And I could darken, say, one corner just a bit more. Something like that. So I'm quite happy with that. And so you'll see how the words, that the white is still visible. So that's the resisting part. And you can, if you do a more solid image, you may need to wipe it. Oh, that's a eucalyptus tissue. That should be all right. You may need to just wipe it with a tissue because the ink, now I'm going to cough. Excuse me. The ink will still be on the white, but it just won't change the colour of the white, if you get what I mean. So you can just wipe it off with a tissue. I might just take a sip of water. I was hoping I would be okay, but talking sort of sets off the cough a wee bit. Okay. So that's our focal area for the start of our card. And so I've gone ahead already and cut my arches. And I've used the sizes where there's actually another one in between. So I wanted a wider border. So I've gone, with one step in between. And I'll explain in the notes when I send the instructions which dies I've used. I think it was the second from biggest and fourth from biggest. There we go. And so this is going to be the front of my card. So I can actually stick that on now. If I can get the glue out. Oh, yes, there it goes. We're having a rainy day here today. Good afternoon. I can see a comment there, but I can't see who wrote it, sorry, on my phone. Lovely to have you joining. Okay, so I've just sort of made sure my border was even all the way around. And I've gone ahead and die cut. So we're using the Gallery Blooms set again today. And the dies that go with it. So I've gone ahead and cut out some of this one. And we're using a stamp today that I haven't used yet, which is that one there. So I've done a couple of things with this one and I've used that one. So today is this guy's turn. Right. So this is going to just go up the side. and that's going to tuck in under there. So I might put that on first. A little bit of glue. And I sort of want to lift that out of the way, but keep it there so I know roughly it's going about there. And then this one, I'm going to put some little dots of glue all the way along. I probably should have, because it's being stuck straight down, I could have done adhesive sheet. Think about that. So I'm just dotting. Okay. Oops. So I'm trying to keep these flower heads on the card, but I didn't think they would collide with that leaf so much. I might just see if I can. Oh no, that'll be fine. Let's just do that there. The way it fell, the way it landed. Some things are meant to be. Okay. Excuse me. Now, I've got here is my stamp. I don't know what that is. It kind of looks like lavender, but they're actually flowers. So I'm not quite sure what that is, but I love any wildflowers. So very pretty. Now, I've got a piece of basic beige here. I used crumb cake for that piece, and the starting point was white. But you'll see how they all tone together quite well, and this is quite nice once it's stamped and cut out on the basic beige. It's just a little softer than using white. Okay, and I've actually got one that I have stamped and cut out already, and I'm going to use my favourite new technique that you've already seen if you've watched the last couple of weeks' videos, is the Wink of Stella, to just move some of the colour on these petals. And I didn't do the leaves this time, I just did the petals. I'm just getting the, and this was stamped a while ago, and the ink is still moving, and just gently colouring as I move it upwards. So it's like a lighter version of the Pecan Pie. And it just gives that little bit of sparkle. You can also do this with a blender pen, but that will be with without the sparkle. Nearly there. Oops. Okay, that's it. So you could do the leaves too if you want to. I decided to leave mine just stamped. And then that's going to go on here. And I think I'm going to use dimensionals. Okay, so over here looks quite good because it's just going to go onto that white. And I can put one there. And I might just use one of these little half pieces. I'm trying to get all my dimensionals on the same level. So if I put it in there. Oh, I lost that thumbnail. And I really notice it when trying to pull those backings off. So I want to see quite a bit of that green leaf. I think about there is good. Okay. And I decided to make this a thank you card. So I've got thank you for everything. This is in the Beautiful Motifs stamp set. There's some great words actually in the stamp set. And this is the one that goes with the Gallery Blooms. It's part of a suite. So you could order one of these and get the other for half price during the sale. Okay, thank you for everything. It's actually not bad. It's pretty straight. And that's just going to go down there. Some bigger dimensionals, yes. I'll do a big one there and a little one at the other end. So it's going to go over that. If I just put it there. And then I'll put a little dot of glue. So this is just going to sit on top of that leaf. Oh, and I just had an idea. I could, oh no, that was crumb cake. No, I won't sponge it. I think about there, looks good. Okay, so that's the front of our card made. Pretty cool with our embossed resist background. Then I've got for my next arch, I've used some of the Designer Series paper. That is the Beautiful Gallery Designer Series paper. And this piece is 6x6. So what I did is I've actually swapped them over too, is I cut it, so it came like that, and I cut it through at 3 inches on my trimmer, and then I cut each arch separately. And then what I've done is swap them over because I really like that tall one, and I didn't want, because I'm putting flowers on this other arch, I decided I wanted to keep this one just as it was without any other things happening. So this one's just going to be the middle panel. And the colours I've used, I've just taken directly from the paper. So I just looked on the back of the pack of paper at the colours that they suggest go with it, and that's what I've chosen. So easy. Takes all the guesswork out of it. Okay, now this one is the other piece of paper, so I can just go ahead and stick that on. And these cards do come together quite quickly, especially when you use the pretty paper, because you don't have to do anything else to it. But this one I did feel needed a little bit of something. So I've gone ahead and cut out another one of these little wildflower dies, and I'm just going to cut it down so it's not quite so long. So I'll just trim it there. And I'm just going to have a little group here on the right hand side on this end one. So we can go ahead and stick that down. Let's see a little piece of something that hasn't quite come free from the die, and I don't want it there, no. Go. Oops, now it's sticking to my finger. Okay, we'll get that on the card. And you can overhang the edge here a bit, would be nice, I think. Just make sure it sticks and not sticks to my finger. Okay, and then I think I was going to do that way around. Is that right? What do you think? That one on next and then the green on top, maybe. Yeah, I think that's a better contrast. And I've sort of steered that a little bit to the right so it didn't totally cover that top flower. And same with this one, we don't want it to totally cover. And to just finish that off, I've done a little bow in linen thread. So I'll attach that with a glue dot, which are just eluding me right now. Where are you, glue dots? Just use these off my class table. Okay, so I always take the glue dot, the ribbon to the glue dot, and then you can just pinch it with your fingers and make sure everything's still arranged nicely. Oops, and then just pop it on the angle like that. Just finishes that little bunch off nicely. Okay, so that's basically the front of our card, the part that everyone will see. And then to make it all happen, I've got a series of arches that are going to go on the back. And this this is just photocopy paper from my printer. And I've cut it to, I just sort of grabbed a ruler and measured where the arch started to curve and just came up with 7 centimetres, which is 2 3/4 inches, which seemed like a good measurement. So I've, excuse me, cut the height to that, and then I worked out that the length of the 3 arches, and I've cut it to size. So then, and then I scored. So I scored the width of each arch onto the photocopy paper. And just be careful when you're scoring, because this is quite thin. This is a lot thinner than our cardstock. So don't be tempted to go back and forth. You really just want one quite light score line is enough for that. Now, I want this to be the front. So I'm going to put that on first, and we always put the glue on the smallest piece. So let's go ahead and put our glue, and we'll just do one section at a time, I think. Okay, so I'm going to position this so that the paper is a little bit above the edge and it's straight on that score line. So I'll just get that down and then I'll flip it over and show you. So I just went a little bit higher just because I don't want to see this white poking out. So when my card is standing up or it's being read, you know, when the person's got it flipped over this way, I don't want to see any of that white poking down between the arches. So I thought it was safer just to tuck it up a little smidge. So then I've got my second one. Oh, now the glue stopped working. There we go. Right, I'll keep it laying down. I think I had it laying down. Perhaps not. Anyway, so now I can just line up that now with my one next door. So I'm not guessing about that height. And pop in my middle panel. And the same with the last one. Something else I should tell you about is the virtual album retreat, which is happening, oh gosh, is it next month? Yes, in July 17th, I think it begins. It's a 3-day virtual event which is being held on Facebook. The way you get to the event is you need to purchase the kit for the virtual month by month, I think it's called, month by month album is the product. And so when you purchase that, you will receive to your email a link to the group for the retreat. And the retreat goes for 3 days, and it's, I forget how many hours per day. I'll put a post up about it anyway. But at the moment, Stampin' Up! Giving away, I think it's two of the month by month kits. And what it is it's 12 double page spreads of scrapbooking, so you can do a whole year, and each one is so each double page spread is a month, so 2 pages for January, 2 pages for February, and they've made it so that you can swap them around. So like in New Zealand, our summer is in January, so you can use a more summery look and feel to people in other parts of the world. It's their winter, so they would use a more wintry elements. So you can swap that all around. So it's very versatile to be used for any country. Now I have got a little bit of white showing here, so I'm just going to trim that off. But yeah, so they're doing a promotion. So if you go to the Stampin' Up either Facebook or Instagram, you will see the way to enter. And I've entered yesterday. So I tagged 3 people. So you do that just by in a comment. You make a comment on the post and you just put the @ symbol and then the people's names that you want to tag. And I just chose 3 people that I know are into scrapbooking, friends and customers. And so I tagged them there, and then I just put a little comment, wouldn't it be great to win, something like that. And secondly, the other thing I had to do was share it on my story. And I can't quite remember how I did that. Oh, if you go share on the post, and then one of the options is your story. So you just share your story, post. That's all you have to do. You don't have to say anything on that part. And that will just come up on your story on your personal Facebook, and tell all your friends about it as well. And you can say, mate, if you want to, you can say something about how excited you are. And that enters you in the draw to win all the 12 pages in the kit for free. So that's pretty cool. So that is happening only until the 6th. You have to have until the 6th of June, and then they're going to announce the winner on the 9th. So it's a short window, and it would be a fabulous prize to win. It's worth, I think it's $525 to buy the 12-page kit. Okay, so I've gone ahead now. We're at the point I've put my strengthening, connecting sort of band through there, and the way this is going to work is it's going to fold like that. It's not quite folding. Why is it not quite folding? That one looks fine. What's happening here? These are a little bit close together. Oh, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? I can test that. I just bone fold that on the other side, hopefully. Okay, so I've got a little crease happening here. They just need to be a little bit further apart, I think. It's a bit tricky, isn't it? Because I don't want to see the white. Okay. But we do want it to work and we want it to stand up. So actually, when it's actually displayed, so it's designed to be displayed like that, you wouldn't actually see the white because those two would be closer together. So when you're sticking it down, you just want even 0.5 millimeter. It's not much of a gap in here. I wonder if I could pull that slightly. No, I think it's pretty well stuck. Okay, so yeah, if I did this again, I would just get a very small gap in between. Okay, so we could try, I've kind of got to match the arches now. I'll make another one and then I'll let you know how I get on. Okay, so now these are just going to attach at the back, really just to hide this and just give a bit more strength to the front. Oh, I'm tired of that glue, misbehaving. I opened one in the weekend, so this is a brand new one. I don't mind when it's just me, but I don't want to hold you up while I'm shaking my glue. Okay, so now I'm just matching the shape. So I'm making sure I'm putting the glue on the wrong side. You can tell the difference by the way the dots look. Oh, I guess I could have trimmed a very small amount off these, couldn't I, to make them. But this is my prototype now. Oh, that's my side. Okay, so that's how it works. Oh, it's not folding, not bad actually. Maybe just putting that, yeah, it's just creasing in here, which is annoying. On the front, anyway. So learn from my mistake and just leave a little bit of a gap in there. Right, so the last thing is to decorate. Now I've lost it. Where is it? There's another arch. Oh, here it is. So this is to go on the back, so you've got a place to write, because I think it's really nice to have that as your display piece. You've got your general theme of thank you on the front, and then you can put your lovely message on the back. And you can put it on either end or in the middle, up to you. So I just thought I would stamp this lovely lacy looking flower, and I plan to stamp it off, but I didn't put any scrap paper. Oh, where's that bit? That'll do. This is the bit that we were sponging earlier. So that's actually quite a good example. So I'm just going to stamp this off on there. But you can see how you can build a lovely scene within that window. So now I've just got my lighter version going on. Beautiful. So you can write over that, of course, because it's nice and light. Your words will still show up. But it's really pretty. And this one I decided to do, so this is just the next size, so you can see the difference. That's the next size down in arch. I didn't need such a big gap at the back, and I thought it would just give that extra little bit of space to write your message. So that's the difference between that gap and that gap. You'll see that that one's a bit bigger. And then I actually think there's it's quite pretty without anything else, but we do have two options for bling. My girls, you know you all love your bling. So I actually think this is the one that goes with the paper and is in the suite, the pressed flower motifs. I just think when you've got this sort of scale, when it's a smaller sort of area, I think that this one, which is adhesive back textured dots, I just feel they're not fighting so much and trying to get the attention, whereas those feel sort of big for the scale. So I'm going to use these ones instead of the ones that are in the suite. And I'm going to use just the small. There is a larger one, which I have another packet, but I'm just going to use the small. And I'm going to put them, where am I going to put them? I might start up here. Should we go like there, or actually there, there and there? Yeah, I do like those. So these are just, they're ever so slightly textured. They're just, is it a dot or a hash, like a grid? Can't quite tell, but they're quite pretty. And just a bit less detail. These are quite detailed with the flower motif on them. So great for other things, but not for this project. Right. So that is pretty much it. Yeah, I'm really pleased how that came out. This is one of maybe my second favourite piece from the beautiful gallery paper. So I really wanted to use that, and I'm planning to have in my garden when we're getting there with our garden. We've got lots of landscaping happening, but part of our plan is a wildflower meadow, and that just reminds me there of exactly what I want for my wildflower meadow. Just think of that, really reminds me. And there's the back where you can leave your message. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I hope you go and have a look at that post on the Stampin' Up! Social media, either on Facebook or Instagram, and just tag 3 friends and share it, and then you're in the draw to win one of 2 kits for free. Like I say, it's $525 value. And you'll be able to join the virtual event in July, which is really exciting. And the other thing, of course, is the BOGO sale, which is on. And if you've got any queries about that, about what's included and how to get the best deal, then just let me know and I'm happy to help you. And otherwise, I'll send the tutorial shortly, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.